The final moments are captured, not on camera, but in sound. A man's voice calm at first, speaking to an emergency operator. A locked garage. A family home surrounded by police only hours earlier. Then, without warning, a gunshot tears through the call. Seconds later, another. And in those final echoes, a life ends while help is still on the line. This is the story of how an ordinary suburban afternoon unraveled into irreversible tragedy. Gulf Breeze, Florida, a quiet coastal town nestled along the Gulf of Mexico, known for white beaches, well-kept neighborhoods, and one of the lowest crime rates in the region. The kind of place families move to for safety, for fresh starts, for peace. On the surface, the Turner household appeared to embody that dream. A military family, 3 children, a home filled with schedules, school runs, and the daily pressures of modern life. But beneath that calm exterior, tensions had been building slowly, silently, for years. Because long before the sirens arrived on Kenkef Drive, this family was already breaking apart. Brie was born in May of 1987 inches, the United States. Her early childhood was shaped by instability. After her parents divorced, she and her older brother, Eric Jr., moved with their mother from Pennsylvania to Texas. According to Eric, home life there was deeply troubled. He would later describe physical abuse and a sister who tried to shield him from it. Brie often stepped between him and their mother, accepting punishment herself so he wouldn't have to. Those experiences followed her into adolescence. By the age of 13, Brie was already struggling with depression and anxiety struggles that would eventually lead to her first suicide attempt. Yet she continued to push forward. She attended community college. She enlisted in the United States Navy. And, over time, she built what appeared to be a stable and meaningful career. For 17 years, she served at various naval installations across the country. In 2009, she gave birth to her first child, a daughter named Kay, with her then partner James. The relationship ended, but Brie retained primary custody, with James having weekend visitation. It was during her military service that she would meet the man who would later become her husband. Colin Turner was born on December 28, 1987. He was raised in a close-knit, deeply religious family by his parents, Terry and Donald Turner, alongside his sisters, Nicole and Rebecca. Those who knew him described a warm, loyal man devoted to family above all else. Professionally, Colin served in the United States Marine Corps, specializing in explosive ordnance disposal, one of the most dangerous roles in modern warfare. Before meeting Brie, he had been married once before. In 2009, he and his first wife welcomed a son, Brody, who remained primarily in his mother's custody following their separation, though Colin's family remained actively involved in his life. When Colin and Brie met through their shared military backgrounds, their bond formed quickly. They married on May 29, 2016. Colin embraced Brie's daughter Kay as his own, and she was soon welcomed fully into the Turner family. Together, they had 2 more children, a son, John Patrick, born in April 2017, and a daughter, Lonnie, born in August 2018. From the outside, the picture looked complete. After 14 years of service, Colin retired from the Marine Corps. He enrolled at Arizona State University to study electrical engineering while taking on the role of stay-at-home parent. During the COVID-19 pandemic, he helped Kay with remote schooling, managed the household, and cared for the younger children while Brie remained the family's sole financial provider. But behind closed doors, the pressure was mounting. According to Brie's brother, the marriage had become strained. Eric later recalled a visit to the home where Colin, both privately and in front of Brie, remarked that they got along because they were both narcissistic psychopaths. Brie reportedly felt overwhelmed. She was working full-time, managing her mental health, supporting the household financially, and she feared something more, that if the marriage ended, she would lose her children. Her mental health history, her hospitalizations weighed heavily on her mind, and by April of 2021, that fear reached a breaking point. While on the phone with her brother, Brie overdosed on pills and alcohol. As Eric realized what was happening, he urgently contacted Colin, who was home with her at the time. According to Eric, Colin did nothing. So, Eric called emergency services himself. Brie was hospitalized and admitted to a psychiatric facility for approximately 10 days, and again the following month for another week-long stay. She later enrolled in an intensive outpatient treatment program. Despite everything, she returned to work at Naval Air Station Pensacola under limited duty status, continuing her recovery while remaining employed. But tensions inside the home never fully eased. And by September 2021, Brie was quietly preparing for something she believed might turn ugly. On the morning of Wednesday, September 8th, Brie reached out to a group of mothers via a messaging app. She asked for recommendations for a lawyer. She warned that the situation involved children and property and could become serious. Just hours later, at 12:53 p.m., she made a call to 911. She reported a domestic dispute and asked for police assistance at her home. Within minutes, officers arrived. They found Colin sitting calmly in a beach chair at the end of the driveway. He told them Brie had a shotgun and a pistol inside the bedroom. He also disclosed that he had a firearm in his truck. He emphasized one important point. Brie had been the one who called police. Inside the home, their young son approached one officer, curiously asking about the equipment on his belt. Brie soon appeared visibly frustrated. The officer explained their limitations. Without visible injuries or clear evidence of violence, there was little they could do. Brie responded with biting sarcasm. She said next time, she would make sure her husband hit her in the face. When asked whether she wanted to file a report, she declined. She said she only wanted to remove her children from the home. Police advised that without a court order, they could not prevent Colin, the biological father of two of the children, from seeing or taking them. As Brie packed belongings, she began moving items from Colin's truck into her own car. When he noticed, Colin stated he would not allow her to take the children. He said he only intended to take them to his parents' home in Georgia for a few days to let things cool down. Officers again explained they could not intervene in custody matters without violence. Paperwork was exchanged, and then the police left. The second call. Around 5 p.m., police were called back. This time, it was Colin who dialed 911. Officers arrived to find him outside holding their youngest daughter. He said Brie was refusing to let him back into the house. When she attempted to take the child from his arms, officers intervened. They confirmed that Colin co-owned the home and legally had the right to enter. Brie pleaded for protection. She said allowing him inside could lead to violence. The officers repeated the same advice. Record everything. Call again if needed. They encouraged separation within the home. They could offer guidance but not enforcement. Before leaving, An officer instructed Brie to allow Colin and the child back inside. She reluctantly agreed. Less than 2 hours later, the third call came in. At 6:22 p.m., 911 received another call from the Turner residence. Colin Turner was on the line. He reported being locked in the garage. He said Brie had removed the batteries from the garage door opener. He claimed she had tried to break his arm. Then in real time, gunfire erupted. The final shot rang out while the operator was still speaking. When officers arrived, they found Brie sitting calmly on the porch. She immediately confessed. She said she had shot her husband. Brie was taken into custody without resistance. During interrogation, she spoke in fragments, crying, pausing, struggling to explain. She said she believed she would never win custody because of her mental health history. She claimed Colin had threatened to take the children to Georgia. She admitted disabling the garage door to stop him leaving. She said her memory after the second police visit was blurry. Investigators pressed for clarity. She could not provide a consistent sequence. She remembered blood. She remembered taking the children to a neighbor. She said she returned to help him, but it was already too late. During a phone call with her father, she sobbed uncontrollably. Near the end, she said something that lingered heavily in the room. She didn't know what was worse, knowing he was dead, or knowing she was the one who killed him. The legal process. In October 2021, a Santa Rosa County grand jury indicted Brie for first-degree premeditated murder. Colin's family gathered days later for a military funeral. The American flag was handed to his eldest son, Brody. His younger children were taken in by their paternal grandparents. Then came years of delays. Until September 24th, 2024, when the trial finally began. The trial. The prosecution described a calculated killing, a day of escalating conflict. A man shot 4 times in the back. A victim, seated not advancing. The defense argued battered woman syndrome. They claimed years of emotional and psychological abuse. They cited an alleged traumatic brain injury. They said police had failed her. Over 4 days, jurors watched body cam footage, heard the 911 calls, saw crime scene photographs. A forensic pathologist testified that Colin had been shot 4 times, all from behind. There was no evidence of a broken arm, no signs of defensive injury. Testimony from Brie's brother conflicted with earlier statements. The defense ultimately chose not to call Brie to testify. After closing arguments, the jury deliberated just 4 hours. They returned with a guilty verdict. Sentencing and aftermath. Colin's parents addressed the court. His mother spoke of raising the children, of protecting their memory of their father. His father spoke quietly of love, loss, and disappointment. The judge then delivered the sentence. Life in prison. In October 2024, Brie's legal team filed an appeal. The case remains active in the courts. She was later discharged from the Navy under honorable conditions. But for the children left behind, no appeal can change what was lost. This was not a case of strangers, not a random act. It unfolded slowly through fear, miscommunication, mental illness, and a system unable to intervene until it was too late. Could it have been prevented? Was it desperation or control? Was it self-defense or an irreversible decision made in a moment where everything collapsed? In the quiet streets of Gulf Breeze, one question still lingers. When people ask for help and no one can legally give it, who bears the cost? Because when the gunshots faded, everyone lost something, and for some, everything.